Have you ever noticed yourself pulling away from people as you've gotten older? Maybe you don't feel like going out as often, or you'd rather stay home than sit through a loud party full of small talk. And then you start to wonder, is something wrong with me? Am I just getting grumpy with age? You're not alone. In fact, most people experience this shift. Our social circles get smaller. Our energy for big gatherings fades, and our interest in casual friendships seems to shrink. At first, it can feel confusing, even worrying. But here's the secret. Most of the time, this isn't a flaw, it's a sign of growth. In this video, we're going to explore 8 powerful reasons why people start avoiding others as they age. And by the end, you'll see that stepping back from certain connections doesn't mean you're broken. In many cases, it means you're wiser. So let's dive in. Reason number 1. Shifting priorities. Valuing time differently. 1. Of the biggest reasons people step back socially is because your view of time changes. When you're younger, you think time is endless. You can go to every birthday party, every office dinner, every get-together with friends, and it feels fine because you assume you'll always have more time later. But as you age, you become deeply aware that time is limited. Every hour feels more precious. Suddenly, you start asking yourself, who do I really want to spend this hour with? Is this gathering going to bring me joy, or is it just filling space on my calendar? Take Henry, a 74-year-old retiree. For decades, he never missed a neighborhood event. Potlucks, meetings, coffee outings, he was always there. But one day he realized most of those gatherings didn't actually make him happy. They felt more like obligations than pleasures. So Henry gave himself permission to say no. Instead of spending hours making small talk, he invested his time in things that truly mattered. Reading with his grandkids, tending his garden, and enjoying quiet evenings on his porch. The result? His life didn't feel emptier. It felt richer. This is the shift. As you get older, you stop chasing quantity of connections and start craving quality. You realize you don't need to impress people or keep up appearances anymore. What you want is depth. People who truly know you, care about you, and bring peace into your life. Reason number 2. Protecting your limited energy. Another huge reason people step back socially is because energy is not the same at 70 as it was at 25. When you're young, late nights and long conversations don't faze you. You can bounce from one event to the next without much thought. But with age, your body and mind demand more rest. Even joyful gatherings can leave you drained for days afterward. Alice, a 78-year-old, loved hosting dinner parties when she was younger. She'd spend all day cooking and stay up late chatting with friends. But by her late 70s, those same nights left her exhausted. At first, she felt guilty for pulling back. But she realized conserving her energy wasn't selfish, it was self-care. So she changed how she socialized. She swapped big dinners for smaller tea dates. She chose early afternoon visits instead of late-night parties. By protecting her energy, she actually enjoyed her time with people more because she wasn't completely worn out afterward. As you age, you also become more aware of how certain people affect your energy. Some people lift you up, while others leave you feeling tense, drained, or even sick. And so you begin to choose carefully. You can't afford to pour yourself out endlessly anymore. You start pouring intentionally. Reason number 3. Losing patience for shallow conversations. Here's another change. Small talk loses its charm. In your younger years, you might have been fine chatting about the weather, TV shows, or neighborhood gossip just to pass the time. But as you grow older, you realize those conversations don't really add anything to your life. Gerald, an 82-year-old, used to meet his old co-workers for lunch every month. At first it was fun, but over time he noticed the conversations never went deeper than traffic complaints, politics, or old office gossip. He left feeling empty, like he'd wasted his time. So he started spending that time with his granddaughter instead. sharing stories and life lessons. Those conversations left him feeling fulfilled and valued. That's the shift. With age, you crave depth. You want conversations about family, meaning, faith, and joy. You want to laugh at real memories, share wisdom, and talk about things that actually matter. So when shallow conversations feel like noise, you naturally start avoiding them. It's not that you dislike people, it's that you value meaningful connection too much to waste energy on words that don't nourish you. Reason number 4. Guarding yourself from disappointment and loss. This one is harder but very real. As you age, you've seen friends move away, drift apart, or even pass on. Each loss leaves a scar. Eventually, your heart becomes cautious. You might think, why bother making new friends if I might just lose them too? Take Eleanor, a 79-year-old widow. After losing her best friend of 40 years, she stopped accepting invitations. Not because she didn't like people, but because she was scared of the pain that comes with losing someone again. But something shifted when she joined a quilting group at her community center. The friendships she formed there didn't replace her old friend, but they did bring her comfort, laughter, and support. That's the balance. Protecting your heart is natural, but closing yourself off too much can leave you lonelier than you realize. The trick is to stay cautious but open, to honor your past losses while still allowing room for new joy. Reason number 5. Becoming more sensitive to negativity. Here's another powerful shift. As you age, you have less tolerance for negativity. When you're younger, you might shrug off gossip or endless complaints. But with age, you feel the weight of negativity more deeply. It drains your spirit, disrupts your peace, and can even affect your health. Harold, 81, used to meet regularly with old friends. But over time, he noticed their conversations were always negative, complaining about politics, money, or how unfair life was. He left those meetups feeling worse, not better. So Harold stopped going. Instead, he began walking with a neighbor every morning. Their talks were filled with uplifting stories, gratitude, and laughter. Those walks gave him more joy than years of negative chatter ever did. That's the wisdom that comes with age. You realize negativity isn't harmless background noise. It seeps into your mood, your health, and your outlook on life. So you step away from people who constantly spread it, not because you dislike them, but because you value your peace. Reason number 6, discovering peace in solitude. And now, perhaps the most surprising reason, you learn to love solitude. In your younger years, life is busy and noisy. Kids to raise, jobs to manage, friends and neighbors always around. But as you age, the pace slows. For many, that's when solitude stops feeling like loneliness and starts feeling like peace. Martha, 83, thought she'd feel lost after her kids moved away and her husband passed. Instead, she found herself enjoying quiet mornings with a cup of tea, afternoons in her garden, and evenings reading books she'd put off for years. She still loved visits from family, but she no longer felt the need to fill every silence with company. That's the beauty of chosen solitude. It gives you space to rest, reflect, and reconnect with yourself. It doesn't mean you don't love people. It means you've discovered balance, and you're finally comfortable in your own company. Bonus reason, number 7, releasing the pressure to please everyone. Here's something freeing about aging. You stop living for other people's approval. In your younger years, you might have said yes to things you didn't want to do, just to keep others happy. But as you grow older, you realize life's too short to waste on things that drain you, so you start saying no more often. You stop forcing yourself to attend gatherings you don't enjoy, and you stop pretending to like people who don't treat you well. This isn't rudeness, it's honesty. You're no longer worried about disappointing others, because you finally understand the importance of not disappointing yourself. Bonus reason, number 8. Seeking environments that truly nurture you. Finally, many people avoid others simply because they want to be in environments that feel safe and uplifting. That might mean stepping back from old friends who no longer share your values, or avoiding places that leave you stressed or anxious. Instead, you choose communities, hobbies, and people that align with who you've become. For some, that's a church group. For others, it's volunteering, book clubs, or simply spending time with family. Whatever it looks like, the common thread is this: you want to be where you feel seen, respected, and supported. Final thoughts. So, why do we start avoiding people as we age? It's not because we've grown bitter or cold. It's because we've grown wise. We value time differently. We protect our energy. We lose patience for shallow talk. We guard our hearts from unnecessary pain. We avoid negativity. We discover peace in solitude. And along the way, we stop pleasing everyone and start choosing the environments that truly nourish us. Avoiding people doesn't mean withdrawing from life. It means curating it, filling it with what actually matters. So if you've noticed yourself pulling back from certain connections, don't see it as a flaw. See it as growth. You're not retreating. You're making space for the kind of life you truly want. And that, my friend, is one of the greatest freedoms that aging brings.